Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Shiranui deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is an amazing zombie synchro deck that can actually synchro summon from the graveyard. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Shiranui Solitaire. Solitaire is one of the best cards in the entire deck, because this card has the ability to contribute a zombie-type monster to be able to special summon a zombie-type monster that's a tuner with 0 defense from your deck to your side of the field, which is an awesome effect to help you get your copy of Unizombie out to your side of the field, so you can start getting your zombies into the graveyard so we can go in for some synchro plays. This card is really good as a 3-of in the build. We then play 2 copies of Squire. Squire is definitely a 2-of in the build as well, because when this card is normal summon, you can special summon a Shiranui Spectral Sword monster from your hand or deck, which is an awesome ability to instantly get one of our Spectral Swords into play, so we can go in for some awesome synchro plays. This card also has the ability, if this card is banished, you can actually draw a card and discard a card, helping you dig into the deck, and also help you get your zombies into the graveyard by discarding a card. We then play a single copy of Spirit Master. Spirit Master is definitely a 1-of in the build, because when this card is normal summon, you can actually special summon a Shiranui monster from your hand or your graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. And if this card is banished, you can actually target a face-up card your opponent controls and destroy it, which is a great effect to help you pop cards on the field. We then play 2 copies of Spectral Sword. Spectral Sword is one of the most important cards in the entire deck, and it's actually how we synchro summon from the graveyard. As if this card's in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent to the graveyard, you can actually target a non-tuner zombie-type monster in your graveyard and banish both it and this card, and if you do, special summon a zombie-type synchro monster from your extract, whose level equals the total of the level of the 2 monsters had in the graveyard, which is an awesome effect to help us synchro summon from the graveyard and go into some awesome boss monsters. We then play a single copy of Shiranui Spectral Sword Shade. Shade is really good as a 1-of, but you only need a single copy in this build, because this card has the ability you can actually tribute this card and then target 2 of your banished zombie monsters except another copy of this card, including a Shiranui monster, and special summon them in defense position but negate their effects, which is an awesome ability to get you 2 monsters out on your side of the field and basically synchro summon from banished, because you're just going to bring back your banished monsters and go in for a synchro play, going through this cycle again, which is really cool. We then play a single copy of Doom King Baller Draw. Doom King is really good in the deck because this card helps you banish cards on the field, and also really good because it's a walking negate that constantly comes back from your graveyard as long as you have a field spell on the field, which we're constantly going to have Zombie World on the field in this deck. So this card is really good to be able to play as a 1-of in the build, to be able to summon out and use for your synchro plays, making it definitely a 1-of in the build. We then play a single copy of Al Ghul Mazara. Al Ghul Mazara is a really good defensive card in this deck, and as if a zombie monster you control would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can banish this card from your hand or your graveyard instead, and if this card is banished from your hand or graveyard, you can actually special summon this card in defense position, then reduce its level by 1, which is an awesome effect to get a boss monster out on the field and use this card to defend your monsters. We then play a single copy of Changshi. Changshi is great in the deck to summon off your copy of Glow Bloom, as this card is a walking Foolish Burial, because during your main phase, you can actually send a zombie monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, which is a great ability to be able to use this card to basically get the exact zombie you need in the graveyard, like a copy of Doom King, so that you can bring it back later. This card also has the ability, if this card is banished, you can actually banish a zombie monster from your graveyard to special summon this card, but place it on the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field, making this card a great card to help you go in for your synchro plays in this deck with your copy of your Spectral Sword, because it's just going to bring itself back to your side of the field. We then play a single copy of Banshee. Banshee is great to help us get to our copy of Zombie Roll, which is why I play this card as a 1-of in the build. We then play a single copy of Gozuki. Gozuki is amazing in the deck as a 1-of. Basically use this card as a walking Foolish Burial. We then play 2 copies of Mizuki. Mizuki is great because this card can banish itself from the graveyard to actually bring back a zombie monster to your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Unizombie. This card is amazing because you summon this card off your copy of Solitaire, which is so important for this deck. And this card is amazing because it lets you send a zombie from your hand to the graveyard to increase another zombie on your side of the field's level by 1. And also you can send a zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard and you increase that target's level by 1, which is a great effect to make this card basically a walking Foolish Burial for the deck, getting the exact zombies you need in the graveyard so you can go in for your synchro plays. Plus this card is a tuner, which also helps you go in for synchro plays. We then play a single copy of Mad Mauler. Mad Mauler is really good in this deck as a 1-of, as this card's name becomes Plague Spreader Zombie while in the field or in the graveyard, and if this card's in the grave, you can target a level 6 or higher monster you control, reduce its level by 2, and then special summon this card from the graveyard, getting you a level 2 tuner on your side of the field, so you can go in for your synchro plays. We play a single copy of Glow Bloom. Glow Bloom is amazing in this deck as a 1-of, because if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish it from the grave to add a level 5 or higher zombie monster from your deck to your hand, or if you have Zombie World in the field spell zone, you can special summon it from your deck instead, which the main target I usually use this card is actually Chang-Chi, as then Chang-Chi can help us send the exact zombie we need to the graveyard, like a copy of Doom King, which is great so we can bring it back on the follow-up because we'll have Zombie World on the field. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom to round out the monsters. Ash is just really good because it's also a zombie, but it also stops the opponent from touching the deck. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get in to the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is really good in the deck as a 1-of to basically just use this card to help us get the exact zombie we need in the graveyard. We then play a single copy of Instant Fusion and 2 copies of Ready Fusion. These cards are really good in the deck to help us bring out fusion monsters to our side of the field to basically just use them as extenders in the deck. And we have a really cool card in the extract that you can actually bring out, which is a classic LOB fusion monster in the form of Flame Ghost. This card is really good to help us go in for link plays or even synchro plays, which is amazing, and it fits the need for this deck to give us an extender in this deck to go in for more plays. But you can also use this card to bring out your copy of Mud Dragon in the form of Instant Fusion only, where Ready Fusion can only bring out normal monsters from the extract that are fusions, which is just amazing to basically have 2 targets in the extract while also having a super poly target as well, which is just really nice so we can keep going in for our plays. Speaking of Super Poly, we also play 3 copies of Super Polymerization because it just works so well with Zombie World, and it's such a powerful card to be able to play, so we can summon out Nether Soul Dragon, and it's just such a powerful card in this deck. We then also play 3 copies of Zombie World. Zombie World is so good in this build. It turns everything on the field and in both players' graveyards into zombies, and neither player contributes summon except for zombies, which can completely shut down decks like Floowandereeze. And it's just so cool to be able to play this card in this build. And it's just an amazing card overall because it's just such an awesome field spell that can really stop your opponent in their tracks and just gives so many different cards in this deck bonus plays, like being able to bring back your copy of Doom King to your side of the field, and even being able to use your copy of your Glow Bloom so you can summon out Chang-Chi and start getting your zombies in the grave. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get in to the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing a few, starting off with 2 copies of Trap Trick. Trap Trick is amazing in the deck as a 2-of because this card lets you banish a normal trap card from your deck, and if you do, you set a trap card with the same name directly from your deck, basically turning your 3-ofs into 5-ofs in the deck, which is so cool to basically give you additional copies of the traps that you want to be able to play in this deck. We then play 2 copies of Shiranui style Swallow Slash. Swallow Slash is basically like an Icarus attack for the deck, letting you tribute a zombie type monster and then targeting 2 cards on the field and destroying them, then banishing a Shiranui monster from the deck, which is an awesome effect to be able to use, but I'm only playing 2 copies in the build, as we can basically just use it with our copy of Trap Trick, so it's kind of like it's a 4-of in the deck. We then play 3 copies of Ghost Meets Girl, a masterful Mayakashi Shiranui saga. This card basically skips your opponent's turn. This card is absolutely absurd in the deck and lets you treat a Mayakashi or a Shiranui synchro or link monster, and neither player can special summon monsters from the hand, deck, or X check for the rest of this turn. Meaning we can flip this card during our opponent's turn and then basically just tribute a monster and then basically skip their turn where they cannot summon, which is absolutely insane. And also banish this card from the graveyard and then target one of your banished zombie monsters and return it back to the graveyard so you can use its effects again, which is absolutely insane to be able to use your copy of Spectral Sword just to put it back in the graveyard so you can go in for more synchro plays. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get in to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start off with a single copy of Shiranui Sun Saga. This card is an awesome boss monster that has the ability, if this card is special summon, you can actually return any number of zombie synchro monsters that are banished or in your graveyard to the X deck. Then you can destroy cards your opponent controls equal to the number of cards returned, which is an absolutely insane ability just to help you deal with cards on the field. Plus this card comes out at 3,500. We then play a single copy of Shogun Saga. Shogun Saga is actually my favorite of all of the Shiranui synchro monsters because this card gets absolutely massive. As if it's special summon, you can actually banish a zombie type monster from your graveyard, and this card gains attack equal to the banished monster's original attack until the end of this turn, which is such a powerful effect to be able to use to basically just make this card absolutely massive so you can swing in for game. We then play a single copy of Samurai Saga. Samurai Saga is really good in the deck as a 1-up, as once per turn during either player's turn, you can target one of your banished zombie type monsters and shuffle it back in the deck, and if you change to defense position, all monsters that your opponent control will attack less than or equal to that monster's, which is a really cool effect to be able to use to basically just change your opponent's monster's battle position so we can go in for game. We then play a single copy of Red Eyes Zombie Dragon Lord. This card is awesome in the deck and one of the most powerful zombie synchro monsters ever created because it helps you revive zombies from the graveyard. We then play a single copy of Skeletal Dragon Felgrim. This card helps you banish cards off the field and is also a walking negate, making it definitely a 1-of in the build. We then play a single copy of Archfiend Zombie Skull. Archfiend Zombie Skull is an amazing card in this build to be able to summon out to your side of the field using your copy of Spectral Sword plus a level 4 monster. Since it special summons the monster and it doesn't synchro summon, we can actually bypass this card's materials and instantly bring it out to your side of the field using Spectral Sword's effect. And this card makes it so zombie monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects, a very simple but effective effect. We then play a single copy of Immortal Dragon. Immortal Dragon is amazing in this build as a 1-up to basically just summon out and level modulate this card to the exact level that you need so you can go in for your plays. And it also helps you send a zombie from your deck to the grave. We then play a single copy of Nether Soul Dragon, the best super poly target in the entire deck, because this card just is super easy to summon with zombie worlds on your side of the field because it just requires 2 zombies to make this card. We then play a single copy of Garua and a single copy of Mud Dragon. These cards are amazing in the build to be able to summon out to your side of the field using your copy of Super Polymerization, or in the case of Mud Dragon, you can also use Instant Fusion so you can use this card as a synchro material to go in for some really interesting plays. We then play a single copy of Flame Ghost. Flame Ghost is really good as a 1-of in the build to basically just use this card with your copy of Instant or Ready Fusion to get another zombie monster on your side of the field. We then play a single copy of the Absolute Zero Mayakashi. This card is amazing to be able to play because it reduces monsters' attack points to 0, and it also is just an amazing card to play in this deck because it's also a walking negate. You can play a single copy of Shiranui Skill Saga Supremacy. This card is really cool as a 1-of in the build and very easy to summon in this deck, and also makes it so synchro monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects, and fire monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. And during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can actually target one of your banished zombie synchro monsters and special summon to a zone this card points to, which is a pretty cool effect. We then play a single copy of Vampire Sucker. Vampire Sucker is great because it helps us draw a card. And then finally, we play a single copy of Flying Mary. Flying Mary is great because it helps us use this card as a pop in this deck, which is absolutely amazing, and also can help you bring back one of your zombie monsters from the graveyard that's level 5 or higher by moving this card into your spell and trap card zone, which is just absolutely crazy. So That's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Shiranui before, you should definitely give this deck a try. It very much reminds me of like a Demon Slayer-like deck, which is absolutely crazy, and it's really fun to be able to play, just to be able to summon out all sorts of awesome synchro monsters to your side of the field, and even synchro summoning from the graveyard. So, that's gonna do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.